Yes.
Yes, one of our active members of the HR Wave as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let's see. We'll wait for a few more. I know that it's July. Everybody's on vacation, but I'm sure we'll have a good number of people for this exciting webinar. I for sure can't wait to learn some tips and tricks. Everybody's on vacation, but I'm sure we'll have a good.
Okay, hello everyone. I hope you had a very good day so far. We'll just wait for 1 more minute and then we can go ahead and start, okay? Okay, hello everyone. I hope you had a very good day so far. We'll just wait for 1 more minute and then we can go ahead and start, okay? Okay. So hello again, everyone. So nice to see familiar faces. Hope all is well. So welcome to our session today. Today we are going to be talking about how AI is redefining learning and development. Just before we start, we have some very few ground rules. Just to keep your phones on silent. Whenever you have a question, don't hesitate to raise your hands or write the question in the chat box. This session is interactive, so please keep it that way and let's interact and have the open discussion going. Let's respect everyone's points of view and most importantly, let's have fun with it. Just a quick note before we start that during the session, you will receive like polls. It will be an interactive on your screen. So once it pops on your screen, just answer the questions and then close it because it will close only when you close it. It will appear on the screen as long as you didn't close it. That's all. And then over to you, Zahra, to start our session. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana, for this introduction. So while we just wait a couple of more minutes for everyone to join, we can take a quick poll. I'm going to be launching the poll now, so it'll appear on your screen. So please respond to this. We'd love to know more about. I see AI is one of the top most answers. There are tools, prompts, recruitment, ethical use, consistent characters, work, email, training, L&D. I would encourage everyone to please keep adding your responses. Give it a couple of more seconds for everyone to answer. Great. So thank you. I think we saw some really great answers in the poll, and we will try to cover all the topics that you're looking forward to in this session. And with that, let me introduce myself and my co-facilitators for today's session. Hi, everyone. I'm Zara, the digital design lead at Wide Impact, and I'll be your host for today's session. I lead the design of innovative AI-powered digital learning experiences that transform complex ideas into engaging learner-centered solutions. And joining me today are my two co-hosts, Priscilla and Rinesh. So together, we bring around 20 years of combined experience in e-learning and digital learning design. The three of us have worked in the data and AI field, so giving us firsthand experience of how AI is transforming the way we work and learn. And we are very excited to share some of those insights with you today. We'll look at some objectives. So we'll discover the potential of in today's session, we'll explore how AI is transforming the L&D lifecycle and workplace learning. We'll discover the potential of AI agents and emerging AI technologies beyond the everyday AI tools that we use. We'll recognize the risks that come with AI, including hallucination, bias, and why responsible AI is essential in today's world. And finally, we'll provide you with some practical strategies and tips to confidently use AI in your day-to-day work. A quick look at the agenda for today. So we'll be covering topics around AI and AI in the L&D landscape. Now, the format of this session is interactive, and at the end of certain sessions, we have some questions that allow for reflection and understanding of the topics. So I would encourage all of you to please keep this session interactive. And with that, I will pass it to Priscilla for a fun icebreaker activity to check how well versed you guys are with your AI skills.
So much,
Over
Zara.
to you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much, Zara. So welcome everybody once again, and let's quickly start with a challenge, an icebreaker. I'm going to show you a series of images, and some are completely real, and others are entirely created by AI. Let's put our heads together and try to identify which one is an AI-generated image. Don't worry if you get them wrong. Please put in the chat, or you can just be off mute. I'm going to pull up the first image, and you can just say which one, A or B. Let's see how good everyone really is. Even though my colleagues know this, but I'm pretty sure they get it wrong.
I still get it wrong.
So, do you think AI is created the A image or the B image? And it says B. Okay.
We'd also love to hear why you have said whatever you
Yes.
said. We'd love to hear why. Let's see how sharp your analytical skills are.
Guys, you can be off mute also. No worries. You can speak. You can put in chat. Why do you think B is the correct answer? Why do you think A is the correct answer?
If you allow me here, the lighting in B doesn't look natural.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I just say a
Doctor?
special welcome to Mr. Mohanad? It's been a while, and just wanted to say thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Salma. It's an honor.
So I think B is the artificial intelligence version.
I think a lot of people, a little bit mixed reactions, but I think people are leaning towards B here more. AI has problems with arms and fingers. The little girl in blue has a bad arm. Amazing. I'm going to reveal the answer. And I think most of you got it right. That's true. So there are subtle errors which, if you look closely, AI will, spot it. And especially, like you mentioned, arms and hands, it's still not gotten better. They get morphed, and you'll start to see like a blurry image. Whereas on the left, it's completely clear, right? So this is one of the best ways to identify like a classic giveaway of an AI image is the deformities. Okay, let's go next. How about this one? This might be a little easier, of course. A or B? People are chatting about the previous one. You guys can continue, no worries. This is the second question. So A or B? AI image is the A1.
Priscilla, you're
Okay,
not
that's
making
what
it easy for us, huh?
very easy.
It's like you're making us look twice.
Okay, most of the responses are coming up are saying A is the artificial intelligent one. You guys are right. Most everybody got it right. This one. The left one is obviously this is Mount Fuji in Japan. Here, the best way to look out for is the environmental cues. The reflection hasn't been captured of the leaves correctly, and some of the finer details don't get captured well in AI yet. Right? So let me bring up the next one. I think this might be easy, but maybe some people got it wrong also. The best way to look out for is the environmental cues. Is this an AI image or a real image? Please let us know why do you think that as well. Just write AI or real. We can just say that because there's no A and B here. But the bank is saying it's real. I wanted to say AI. Okay.
Love how everyone is concentrating so much on the image, trying to figure out. And that's the reality of today, that you have to look twice before, you share anything online to just ensure that it's AI or real.
John has made a correction. He thinks it's real. Great. Amazing. So, yes, you guys, most of the guys were right here. It is a real protest. It's with real people. And not much explanation needed here. It captures the nuances very well. And also, one of the ways to identify is the text on the screen. So, AI gets this wrong many times, which is the text. That makes complete sense if you just read it as it is. It doesn't look robotic. If you're ever unsure about certain images, a good way to check if it's an AI image is to also do a quick reverse image search in Google, and you'll get the authenticity of this photograph, right? Go next. It might get a little bit difficult here. Salma, maybe you can take this. How about this? Is this an AI image?
So you ask a person who likes to talk a lot to decipher something that she always gets confused. The lighting is exaggerated, so I feel like it's played with image, but all the fingers are there, and the kid is doing something very common, and the pictures in the background are blurred, so it could be just edited on your smartphone.
Yeah. Thanks for the really detailed explanation. You have a good eye. Yeah, if you're saying it seems real. Yeah. Okay. This was an AI image, but as you can see, it has progressively gotten better with the hands that we've found out, right? So if you look closely, the phone dimensions look a little warped, but other than that, it can really pass off as a real image. But good thing that most of us didn't fall for that. So another thing that I want to bring up here is, so there was this study that was conducted, right? And this was done by Harvard. And it said that, most of the organizations that have implemented an AI-generated onboarding program, so most of the HRs can pay attention here, experience almost a 40% decrease in employee retention just after 6 months. This was a 2024 Harvard Business Review. Just wanted to know if anybody came across this study. This was trending on LinkedIn. What do you guys think about it?
In the chat, or should we chat about it?
And you can please be open to discuss it as well.
I think AI is too new to have this significant impact on retention. So I think there are other elements, especially with the changing market right now. So yeah, whether it's directly related to AI or not is a matter of doubt to me, at least.
Yes, I'm inclined to agree with that. I suspect the quality of what's being put before the onboardees may have a
Right.
big impact on what actually the retention that comes from that. And of course, there are many other factors as well that influence retention. So how effective that study was, I don't know. I haven't read it, I haven't seen it, but I wonder, one, is the product itself, was it effective in doing its job? And two, what happened after that? Yeah. Of course, there are many other.
This just goes to say this comes with a lot of experience and a lot of, detail eye. So newsflash, this was a complete fake study. And, I'm pretty sure nobody believed it, but I could have believed it. Like if a few months back, if it has been posted, I would have believed it. What we did is we just used AI to generate this entire post, and we got some random statistics. We put this Harvard Business Review, and we just attributed it to this, made it look professional. And it created all the hashtags, and it did all this in a very convincing format. But unfortunately, if a lot of kids today or the Gen Z sees this, they might fall for something like this, right? So this is one of the things that we can look out for, which is as HR and L&D professionals, we must verify all the information that we come across. Let's not trust anything blindly. So these are some of the things to look out for. And using AI is not just a skill anymore. It's like verifying it also is become a critical skill, right? So thank you so much for all these responses. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Priscilla. So this is Aslan fake news?
Yeah, it's the complete fake news. Harvard did not do this.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let me just, so all of you must be wondering, so how does this matter to me? So let's look up the quick stats that have been come up. 58% professionals have said that across fields, they are producing work that they couldn't do till about last year. This is across all the professionals. And 71% of L&D professionals are already implementing AI. It's actively used in their systems. And 64% of AI that has been used in all corporate environments, which is dedicated to HR processes only. Talent acquisition is at like a top area of deployment, right? So we have all come into AI in a very truly pivotal moment with our careers. Let's understand or let's learn to be critical about AI and also use it actively. So with this, I'm going to pass it to Rinesh for our next section. Over to you, Rinesh.
Could you go back to that slide for a moment?
For sure.
Sure.
Is that real? Is this real?
This is real.
This is real.
Okay. Interesting thing, the 64%. On the news this morning, the Victorian government, which is a state in Australia, is investigating legislation to outlaw the use of AI in recruitment because of embedded racism.
True.
A lot of cases reported, yes. Completely agree. Thank you so much for that observation.
All right. So thanks a lot, Priscilla, for that amazing icebreaker. Even though we sat together to create this whole, webinar and this PPT, I am still amazed by how AI has created some of these images. I think the kid holding the phone, even though I am a photographer, I was saying, no, this can't be AI. This is real, because from a photographer standpoint, it looks really good. So hats off to AI for doing what it's doing. And with that being said, we're going to move into the next section, which is AI in the L&D lifecycle. So before we move ahead, if we look closely on the slide, we can see how AI has transformed tasks and how these can be applied within the HR and the L&D job roles, right? So let's start off with HR. So AI can rapidly screen resumes. We're not talking about just 1 to 2 or 3, 10. No, we're looking at thousands of resumes being screened, and then identifying emerging skills, drafting job descriptions, answering routine employee questions or supporting onboarding, right? But it still relies on HR professionals to make ethical hiring decisions, build culture, and lead people. So similarly, in the learning and developing side, AI can summarize research. We're not talking again one or two PDFs or PPTs. We're talking about thousands of PDFs being summarized, helping create learning objectives, generating assignments, drafting storyboards, even building the first version of our learning modules, right? So the question is, but can AI truly understand learning motivations? Can it sense when stories will resonate, or bring out emotional, cues? Can it inspire behavioral changes, right? Not on its own, right? Those are unique human capabilities. The real opportunity isn't replacing expert. It's freeing us from, repetitive, mundane work, so we can spend more time doing meaningful things and solving meaningful problems out there, right? So now before we continue, this is a quick poll again. So which AI tool do you use most often and for what reason? Right? So if you're into video generation, you say video and the tool that you're using. If you're into creating images, write image and the tool that you're using.
Keep typing the chat as well. ChatGPT for developing slide content, Claude, ChatGPT, Claude for Excel work, Claude, ChatGPT is winning. Writing this job description, competency frameworks, proposals, depressing organization structures. Yeah.
A lot of us are using AI for a lot of reasons. Amazing. So we're going to end the poll here. And I think, like we initially mentioned, if it's still up on your screen, you guys can manually close it by clicking on the X mark on the chat window or on the. All right, moving on. This is where things get interesting, right? AI impact in L&D workflow. So we have 4 levels. The first stage is discovery and content, right? And the second stage is strategy and design. I'll be getting into it in more detail in the following slides. And then we have delivery and execution. And then we have our final stage, which is the follow-up, right? Now we're going to see a graph. Right, this is how much AI is being used. We see in the discovery and in the content side, we're seeing AI being used, but really not effectively. We are using to an extent. And we see strategy and design, yes, it's getting better. And delivery and execution, that's where we see quite a lot of us using AI. What do I mean? By, going ahead and generating your images, your text, your videos, your translations, and so on and so forth. And in the follow-up, that's where AI is being used very less. We see there's a big dip. It's almost lower than discovering and the content side or the strategy side, right? That is how less we're using AI in this particular level. Now, to put things into perspective, we're going to use a scenario throughout this whole life cycle, so you can stick onto it. So, for example, a company needs to launch a new code of conduct training. The traditional approach is one course. Everyone receives the same content, the same duration, the same assessment. Whether you're from the HR department, whether you're a manager, new employee, senior lead, the learning experience is identical. It doesn't matter. But the challenge is not everyone needs the same course, right? because we are all from different levels, different experience. So one can have a better understanding than the other person. So we don't need the same thing. The first stage, discovery and content. The traditional view is before creating a training or a course, we gather information, understand the business problem, identify the audience, and collect content from the SME or the subject matter expert. Now, the common practice of using AI at this particular stage is AI is primarily used as a research assistant. People ask AI, research a particular topic, summarize a particular document, explain unfamiliar concept within the received file or the research material, organize notes, right? Generate initial ideas. The humans still decide what information is useful. But emerging AI capabilities or ideas for AI, instead of simply finding information, AI begins helping us understand the problem. Imagine AI is connected to all your organization's platform. For example, your SharePoint, your Microsoft Teams, internal policies, customer complaint, help desk tickets, your CRM tools, let it be BMC Remedies, Siebel, Citrix, whichever CRM tool that your organization is using, AI is integrated into that, then employee surveys, then performance dashboard. Rather than asking, help me research on code of conduct, the AI could say, hey, you know what? I have analyzed 3,000 employee questions, HR cases, and policy documents. Managers' frequent question where they're struggling with, conflict of interest, while the new hires are also struggling with, hey, should I accept this gift from the supplier? All of these questions are coming. AI has moved beyond research. It has become your insight discovery agent. So now going back into your scenario, your company needs to create this code of conduct course. Instead of interviewing 10 or 30 SMEs for the next 3 weeks, AI analyzes your HR investigation, your ethic hotline cases, employee question, audit finding, previous learners' feedback. It identifies the most common compliance risk before the first storyboard is ever written. Like I said, it has moved from research assistant to an insight discovery agent. That is what happens in this particular stage, discovery and content. Moving on to strategy and design. To put it into simple words, now we need to decide how people should learn. We gathered all the information, right, from all these SME, subject matter expert, from various content that we received. Now we decide how you should learn, right? I'm not sure how effective that's going to be, but hey, let's go with it. The common practices, we define learning objectives, course structure, the activities that go into the course, assessment, the learning journey. Today, AI acts as a content generator. That's the common thing that we do. Can you generate this content for me? Can you generate that content for me? People ask, can you write an objective, the learning objective, generate a quiz, build a scenario, suggest activities out there, create this course outline for me. So the designer edits those results. In an emerging AI capability, AI becomes a designing partner, right? It's not no more your brainstorming buddy. We are going to use AI as your sparring partner, right? Imagine AI understand your business goals, your audience persona, performance gaps, previous course effectiveness, organizational priority. Instead of asking AI, can you write 5 questions for me? The AI is going to ask you, would a quiz actually measure the desired behavior? Based on similar learners, a branching scenario is kind of created for better evidence and decision making, right? So, or for example, a manager have already completed anti-bribery training. Now the AI is going to say, hey, let's cut out 20 minutes of this course because it's going to be duplication for that one person. The AI is helping us make instructional design decisions, not just generating instructional content or assistant for us, right? Business, now going back to the business scenario, rather than creating one code of conduct course, the AI is going to recommend 4 learning journeys. One for the new employee, the fresher, then the manager, the HR professional, and the senior leads, right? Each receive different scenarios, different example, different assignments, and different learning activity based on their responsibility. So the instructional designing reviews and refines the recommendation instead of starting from scratch. Right, moving on to the next stage, delivery and execution. Now, like I mentioned, if you understood, this is where a lot of us use AI a lot. This is where the course is built and delivered. You know, videos, the storyboard, storyline modules, facilitator's guide, the translation happens here, the voiceover happens here, the image generation happens here, everything gets produced, right? Common practice today is AI is primarily your production assistant, right? People usually use it for your copyright, like I mentioned, translations, your voice generation, all of those. The goal is fast production. Imagine AI in an emerging AI capability side, instead of simply helping create learning, AI becomes part of the learning experience itself, right? It is integrated into all of these platforms, like you see, the LMS, your learning, the LMS platform, it can be SumTotal, it can be your Talent LMS, it can be different, whichever your organization is using, we're going to integrate AI into it. Your virtual classrooms, your learning apps, your Microsoft Team. So during learning, it can adapt, you know, it can explain, it can understand, hey, this is what you want. So it's going to give you an explanation that you want rather than what we are going to give you. Personalized examples, changing the difficulty mode. For example, hey, I don't understand complex problems. Can you simplify this to me? Can you make it sound a little more layman for me? So that is what happens, right? Generate new scenarios than the ones that are already in the course. So coach answering questions in real time. So learning becomes dynamic instead of fixed. Now, again, going back into the scenario, a manager reaches an ethical scenario. Instead of selecting an answer and moving forward, the AI would ask, tell me, why did you even choose that option? It evaluates the reasoning. If the learner misunderstood the policy, what happens is the AI generates another scenario, explains the concept differently, and allows them to try again. But that is what AI does for you. Every learner receives a different experience based on their understanding. This is how amazing AI has evolved. I love AI. All right, moving on to the last one, follow-up. Sorry, I'm going to speed this up because of time constraint here. Like I said, this is where we use AI the least, right? The traditional view is learning doesn't end by just clicking on that complete button, right? The goal is to determine whether employees are applying what they have learned and to support continued performance, right? That is our goal. So the common practice today is, if you look into the ChatGPT side, is today AI is mainly used as an analytic assistant. You know, organizations use AI for summarizing survey response, analyze learners' feedback, generate completion report, identify trends in learning analytics. So here, the focus is to understand what happens after the training. Sorry, did something happen? Sorry, my bad.
On slide 27. It's good.
All right, sorry, I just lost control there. All right. So like I said, the common practice is, you know, we use it for summarizing, analyzing learners' feedback, identifying trends in the learning ecosystem. So here, the focus is, like I mentioned, understanding what happens after the training. So in an emerging AI capability world, instead of analyzing learning after the event, AI becomes an always available performance support agent. It's going to be at your fingertips. Whenever you want, wherever you want, AI is going to be there to help you get better at your work, right? Imagine AI is integrated again. We're integrating AI into all of this. When I say integrating, we're going to have agents built into this, into your LMS, Workday, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Salesforce, so on and so forth, right? So rather than waiting for employees to remember what they've learned, AI provides support in the moment of need. So the AI isn't asking, did you complete your course? You don't get an email saying that, hey, Priscilla, or hey, Zara, or hey, anyone, did you complete this course? You are due for it. AI is no more doing that. It's asking, you're doing a task right now, let it be taking a call, let it be drafting an email. It's saying you're doing this particular task. Here is the guidance you need. Probably you haven't put in your pleasantries, so AI is going to help you with that. You haven't put your pleasantries. Would you want to add some pleasantries like, hi, hope you're doing good. Hope this email finds you well. So the AI is always training you. So learning moves beyond course completion into your everyday work. Now, again, going back into your scenarios. For example, a manager or someone completes his code of conduct course, and suddenly a supplier gives him a gift, and a very expensive gift. Instead of going back into that 45-minute course, what happens, or just going through the HR emails, they ask the company AI chatbot or the AI assistant that the organization has provided. And then the employee asks the chatbot, can I accept this gift from my vendor? And the AI goes ahead, understands where the employee is located, what is his role, what is his level, because each level has different rules and regulation. Each country has different policies on, taking gifts and so on and so forth. References the organization code of conduct, explain relevant policies in plain language, suggest the appropriate next step, links to the full policy if need be. Sorry, I have John raising his hand.
Yes. The example of the gift. What would AI have said to Donald Trump about the plane from Qatar?
So I wouldn't know, but
bear in mind, as a result of that gift, relations between Qatar and USA have improved greatly. So from a diplomatic perspective, it worked. So what would AI have said?
Well, AI is not going to give its own answers. So like I've mentioned, there are these policies, there are these code of conduct where the AI would be integrated into. Now, let's say Donald Trump does ask AI, can I get this plane from them? And AI is not going to give him a straightforward answer, hey, sure, you're the president, by all means, no. But what AI would do in turn is go ahead and fetch the information from all the sources that AI has been connected to. And hence it would give the actual reply that Donald Trump does need. I am guessing, no, you shouldn't take that plane. But that's just me, right? But again, this is how AI has really improved itself, integrating AI into all your organizational platforms just to get you the right answer, to make sure your learning is a continual process and not like a one-time or a 1 hour thing during the day. So with that being said, I'll be passing this next session. Oh, sorry.
John Norman also has raised his hand. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, but please. My bad. You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Wait, I can hear you.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at this, and this is fascinating, obviously, because you're demonstrating how AI can pull all together the data or information, if you like, or from data banks or whatever you've got all over the organization, and pull the data together, interpret it in real time, and give you some very interesting answers. And you can structure it using it. Are you in fact using this a bit like a very sophisticated program here?
We do have organizations that use it to a very sophisticated, like you've mentioned, right? They have their own AI chatbots, which are again integrated into their policies, which are integrated into, let's say, different share drives. It's not integrated into the net, right? So they're not getting information from online or from the web. They are getting the information from their repository. There's like a company repository, so the AI is integrated to that with an API backend, and all your information is got from those repositories.
Okay, so let me ask you another question so that I grasp an understanding of this, the detail you're putting in here. Essentially, let's say you're saying we can connect it out to the net. So how careful can we be to make sure that anything that we pick, the AI model picks up off the net, is relevant to what we're doing and not irrelevant or erroneous to what we're doing?
So to answer that, we need to have a proper backend API. So a lot of us, we use Python with Fast API, which is very reliable, and it makes sure it's got quite a bit of firewall, and it doesn't go outside. So you give it access to all your share drive, all your policies. It is not going to bypass that and go to the internet to get what the internet has to tell.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, again, John, sorry.
Mohammed had his hand up before John. Mohammed, go ahead.
Thanks. Well, okay. I have to admit AI is amazing for doing stuff, and working for a company as big as the one that I'm working for. I can see the benefits of integrating AI in a lot of places. But at the same time, from an experience of personally using AI, it makes me less likely to actually research and do the work myself, because AI said so, right? So in this case, how do we make sure that both the learning and development teams are doing their due diligence of researching and making sure that the stuff they're presenting to their employees are actually presentable and fitting their audience? But at the same time, from an audience point of view, how do we make sure that the AI is actually helping us the right way to do things, as opposed to just AI said this, so I'm learning this. How do we make sure both ends are benefiting the right way?
All right. So one of the things that before creating the course, we do make sure that the content. For example, let's say Deloitte or Accenture or IBM or Google wants to create this course code of conduct. Now, what happens is there are already policies and rules and regulations set by the company. Now, we're going to have the AI connect to those rather than something outside the company infrastructure, right? So that is where it's not going to fetch information from outside. But again, with that being said, like Priscilla mentioned, we also need to do our due diligence of making sure to verify the content that we are reading, verifying the image that we're looking at. So that is something that we at Aaron. But from a company perspective, usually it is their repository that the API is going to contact. Does that make sense?
I think
thank you so much.
Yeah, I think you have to do, having used AI extensively myself for writing things like business proposals, big complex ones, I think you have to be very careful that what you're doing, you do validate and do a sanity check on what's being generated without a doubt. Yeah.
We'll be touching base on those.
It is just it's so easy to forget to do this stuff when it's so convenient, where AI could do everything for you, basically.
Very true.
Trust nothing.
Trust nothing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Iceberger, you had something to say? You didn't share.
It basically has been covered. My question was more about cybersecurity and how do you know that your AI has not been hacked? But that's a variation of Mohammed's question, so I think it's been answered.
Right.
You have to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Everything can be hacked.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am going to give it over to Zara right now. Zara, please go ahead.
Thank you, Dinesh. Give me
you.
a second. I'm going to find my slide. Yes. Thank you so much, Dinesh, and thank you for all the wonderful questions. I think we've all learned a lot from the questions that you all have asked. And now if you step back and look at everything that, we've just discussed, a clear pattern is emerging, and AI is not just changing how we work, but it's also transforming how we are learning, right? So learning is becoming more personalized, intelligent, and readily available to us when needed. And these capabilities that you see on screen are already transforming the way organizations design, deliver, and measure our learning experiences. And while they often work together, each one solves a different challenge and creates unique opportunities in the learning and development field. Over the next few slides, I'll take you through a closer look at each of these and understand how they work and explore real-world examples of how they are being used today in the L&D industry. So in the near future, we'll see a lot more adoption of AI tutors and learning coaches that provide personalized information on demand without actually now waiting for an instructor. So as you can see here on screen, we have an example of an AI-powered learning chatbot. So it's almost like having a personal tutor or a coach that is available 24/7. And AI tutors are now capable of answering very complex questions instantly. They can explain complex concepts in different ways depending on what is your learning style. They can provide feedback. They can recommend resources for further learning and even coach the learners through some of the challenges, as you can see on the screen. So it's almost like chatting with a mentor or a life coach and asking questions accordingly. The next is generative AI for full content creation. Now, as we discussed, the content no longer takes weeks to generate. Gen AI can help us instructional designers draft learning objectives, create course outlines, create video scripts, assessments, video scenarios, and even translations in a fraction of the time that it used to take us before the onset of AI. And this allows the learning and development team to focus more on strategy, quality, and learner experience rather than repetitive development tasks. And also to ground it in reality, I want to show you a practical tool that is available in the market. I'm not sure how many of you all have got the chance to view it, but it's called Gemini Notebook LM. It used to be called Google Notebook LM. I think they've recently changed the name. I'm going to share my screen and show you a demo of this tool. I hope you can see my screen. So this is one of the chapters that I've created in the Gemini Notebook LM. Now, unlike your normal AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude, the knowledge sources of this is based, their knowledge sources are based taking the entire internet into consideration. So all the resources available on the internet is your knowledge base. But here what you can do is you can create your own knowledge base by uploading research papers, documents, PDFs, anything that you have and that you want to research about. So what you can do is you can click on add sources. Here you can, you can upload files, you can add links to websites and also add YouTube videos. It also reads videos. You can upload any documents that are in a drive, or if you've come across any content on the internet and you just want to take the text, you can also insert copied text here. And this chat panel that you see here, this is very similar to your AI, any AI tool. You can type your answers, but the answers are less biased and it hallucinates less because it's grounded in the sources that you have provided it. So these should ideally be all vetted sources. So as you can see, I have taken stuff from Harvard, all of the actual websites which are vetted. And the best part about this is this studio panel that you see here. So you can transform your content into different formats. So you can create an audio podcast based on your sources. You can create a PowerPoint deck. You can create videos, short, long. You can define the output that you need. You can create mind maps, reports, flashcards, quizzes, infographics, data tables, lot of possibilities in this. I because of the lack of time, I will not be able to show you this, but I would encourage all of you all to try this tool. I will be putting the link in the chat. So you can, for your role, if you have certain documents, please go ahead, upload it, chat with it, and explore the different outputs that are possible with this tool. Just give me a moment to load my PPT again. Yes, John, you have a question.
I just put my microphone on. So this time. So that's great. What sort of cost does an organization incur in buying that kind of capability?
You're talking about the Google, the Gemini notebook?
No, well, yeah. What if let's say we want to use a piece of software just like that, what sort of cost is incurred, say, to an organization of 2,000 people?
I wouldn't know the exact cost, but it also depends on what is the requirement of your organization. I think each team requires a different tool. For example, the L&D might require a different tool. Your HR might require a different tool. The technology team might require a different tool. So I think it all depends on how much. But like I said, there are free versions of these tools also available. So, there is a variety. Even in Claude, if you see, there is a free version, there is a pro, there are 4 types of versions available. So it all depends on what is the organization's requirements.
Okay. So would you say the investment is largely on the software or more on the people side of things, getting people to train to use it?
There are a lot of these free courses that are also available. So I don't think training would take that much time because it's all, I think, research and development. I think you can go ahead and research any tool if need be. But I think the tools, if you're using it at a large scale, I think they would incur a larger cost.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yes, John Westover.
Mohammed Ghani had some great questions in the chat. Could you address them?
Yes, I did address it in my comment down. So he's asked, like you said, AI gives perspective as per your need, but how did a person know that the perspective he gets is the right perspective he needs? Do you believe you need to learn the AI models? So no, I don't think you need to learn an AI model. So it's basically just like driving a car. You don't need to know the basics of a car, right? You're driving it, you need your logical and critical thinking skills. So it's similar, it's a similar analogy that you can apply to AI tools. It's going to give you outputs, but I think it's on you to ensure that the outputs that you're getting are verified. You can probably always do a Google search. That's what we've all been originally using for the longest time. So I think it's all on your critical thinking skills that's more important. So yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And can I ask another question?
Sure, yes.
Thank you. Before business, before companies, the people usually come out of university.
Mm-hmm.
And the students are using AI to get the correct answer, to get a mark, instead of learning.
Right.
Okay. Any suggestions on, I'm involved on the fringe of academia. Any suggestions of how to get students to better use AI using the academic structure of you are rewarded for a mark, not for learning.
So I guess that is on the, see, I don't think we can stop anyone from using AI, at least in today's world. At least schools and organizations can restrict the use of AI, but I think with the pre-teens, teens, and the early adults, I think it's very difficult for them to control. So all that we can do is give them the right guidance and as to how to use these AI tools, because eventually I think counseling is what helps, is what I feel, that somewhere they need to understand that using AI to pass an exam is not going to help them in the future. It's their understanding of the subject that is more important. So I think marks maybe could be given less importance and maybe have some practical applications where AI is not going to help them.
Okay, well, we have to convince industry to not look at marks then when recruiting. But one of the things I've suggested to our department is the student is free to use AI to do anything, but they have to document and prove how they checked it.
Right.
Is that reasonable, in your opinion? Is that reasonable or excessive? Or it starts to, it's one of the things we've been talking about is due diligence. How do you get somebody to do due diligence? And it's a very individual thing.
So I feel sometimes, when you even get these AI generated outputs, a lot of them have sources linked to those. Initially, I think we used to just get, I'm sorry, somebody's background noise. Yeah, thank you. So,
problema niyan. Siya ang reporting manager eh.
Sorry, Sharon, can you just mute?
Huh?
Thank you.
Stop.
So, as I was saying, a lot of these AI outputs do have sources mentioned now, in their the result page. So that, okay, this result is coming from somewhere and it's not randomly generated. So, I mean, you can ask them to submit their sources as to where they got this information from, because now AI does give that output. So yeah, I think it's a good way of ensuring that they're giving submitting results which are valid and vetted.
Yeah. I think as per the policies in various companies, it is one of the requirements. You generate something via AI, you got to let them know that this particular content was generated by AI.
Yeah.
So that's a requirement in some of the multinational companies out there. It's not, I don't think so it's extensive. I don't think so it's aggressive. I think everyone should be open with these.
Anand and Amal both have raised their hands.
Yes, please go ahead. Anand?
Actually, for the first question, John took the words right out of my mouth. But so I'm gonna ask a second question, which is, all right. No offense to those who use AI, but I think the AI bubble is gonna burst anytime soon. And I feel like if we integrate a lot of our systems with AI, and then present them to people, and then when AI is no longer that hot topic that everybody is talking about, it's gonna backfire. People are gonna get used to using AI, and then the rug is gonna be swept from right beneath them. But my question is that in case AI does continue and the use of AI does continue, how do we transform the thinking of people in our organizations from using AI as a partner, just like you said in your presentation, to using it as a tool? Because when the computer came in automation, they didn't become people's partners; they became people's tools. People use them as tools, and now because AI thinks. I think people are treating it as a person that they talk to, not as a tool that they could use. How do we transform? Because this is really important in organizations, in my opinion.
That's true, but I just want to ask that why do you think it's an AI bubble? Because I mean, I think it's just another like you said, like the computers or Google or the internet came, I think this is here to stay, and I don't think it's going to burst. But
I believe
yeah, I
so
mean,
too. Don't get me wrong, but what I do believe is that companies are using AI as a product that they get profit from. So
right.
every AI model is built to please you as a user, not to give you the most accurate answers, in my opinion.
Right. I think people can still use it as a tool because, I mean, I do see a lot of instances where, like, take Accenture, for example. I think they've laid off a lot of people in the hope that AI is going to do their jobs. And I think that this is only something that time will tell, if AI is going to be replacing jobs or it's just going to be another tool which humans will use to just make their work easier.
Here's hoping that people understand that it's a tool.
Yeah, I think that's something only time will tell. Yes, Amal.
I would say to summarize and without detracting too much from, because we can see a lot of excitement on this topic. I'm sure many of us here remember the days where, let's say, you took a course in college and your teacher had to tell you Wikipedia is not a credible reference. And 20 years later, people have to tell, I have to tell students at the university, yes?
Only the older people.
Only the older. I have to tell students ChatGPT is not a credible source. You have to validate. I think beyond this, there is the risk that when in the old days, using Wikipedia, let's say, you used to think that you have a well-rounded opinion because whatever made it to the Wikipedia page, that's all you need to know. And that is, I think, even more acute now with ChatGPT, because you really think you have this assumption that because it's a large language model, because it's built over the entire internet, that whatever it's distilling is really all you need to know about the subject. And in so many cases, this is not true. So I've done these tests. I teach a course where we do a labor market analysis, and they use ChatGPT, for example, to come up with the most significant trends, and it often does not say. And the problem is you tell it, oh, but what about this? And you'll say, yes, you're absolutely right. How would a student who doesn't know the trends say, what about this? And in my observation about work and students, the biggest population that is at a threat of not knowing how to think, because how do you know how to think? You have to go and ask and check and verify and do that wide search to know, is young students and young joiners at work. So I've noticed that these are the two populations who would take it at face value, ChatGPT told me, and then will copy paste. And so I think we have a responsibility as managers, as educators, as L&D professionals to almost design not just to verify the source, but verify the breadth of it, the depth of it, all of the areas, not just, okay, it comes from a credible source, I think.
Thank you, Amal. John, you have your hand raised.
You're on mute.
Right, there we are. Third time lucky. So there's a lot of talk going on about AI as a tool, et cetera, and sort of machine learning and stuff like that. I think organizations need to, we all possibly do as small organizations, big organizations, or as individuals, we need to step back and think just how are we going to use this, and what is the framework in which we're going to operate AI within our organization. And I think there's several issues at stake, and I think there's a lot of organizations set out using AI with an unclear purpose, or they've got weak governance, or perhaps they've got a disconnected investment on how they're using AI across the organization, and therefore you get fragmented activity. I think there's a need for organizations, big and small, to step back and say, okay, what governance have we got? How are we going to manage? How are we going to use AI? What are we going to use it for? And why are we going to use it? How are we going to get results? And I think that really is very important, to organizations. And I've loved your demonstrations. They're great, but they give us very much the tool side of it. Do we need to step back and say, strategically, how is the organization going to use AI?
Una na ako ah. Te, bye-bye.
Thank you. Sorry, I've finished.
Thank you. Thank you,
Rhetorical question, really. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I've got to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. John Westover, yes. Hi.
I was just going to say, I have edited Wikipedia. Give you an idea about how credible it is. I have edited Wikipedia. And the edits have survived. So.
Yeah, I think now we all know that
it's
like an open source which is edited. So I think Wikipedia is no longer something that you can believe. Yes, John, you have your hand raised. John?
John Norman, not John Westover.
Can we move ahead? Okay. Thank you.
I think it's
thank you for the
frozen.
Yeah. Even I for a moment I thought I lost network. Okay. So talking about persona learning pathways. So it's not everyone learns in the same way or at the same pace, but AI can analyze a learner's persona, role, skills, and many more criteria to recommend the most relevant content. It can also skip topics that someone already knows and provide extra support where needed, and create learner journeys that are tailored to their individual goals. Now, as you can see on screen, this is like a Claude generated output that we got for prompting it to create a course on Posh. So you can see it's created like a learning pathway of how it can be mapped into the organization effectively. So you can see it has suggested different pathways depending on the persona, the role, and the position in the organization. So this helps the training to be very effective to that person's learning goals. And so once learning becomes personalized, the next question is, how do we know that it's working? I think that's where AI-powered learning analytics provides valuable insights. These analytics go beyond just completion rates. That's what we've been traditionally, doing, getting feedback forms filled just to ensure that people are completing courses. But that's not it, right? They help learners identify who may be disengaging or predict skill gaps, before they become performance issues, and recommend targeted interventions. So instead of simply tracking the course completions, it helps us understand the learning effectiveness. So here you can see a sample of a learning analytics on a Posh course. And on the right, you can see that it has also suggested what is the next steps for the managers based on the analysis that it has given. Now, together, all of these capabilities represent a shift from a one-size-fits-all training to learning experiences that are intelligent, adaptive, and data-driven. And as AI continues to evolve, I think these will not just be nice-to-have features, but they'll become like the new standard for workplace learning. Here are some AI-powered tools that we've put together, like a toolkit. These are some of the tools that our L&D team regularly uses. You can take a screenshot of this if you'd like. But the important point is not to use every tool that is on this slide, but it's to understand that all of these different tools have different strengths, right? Like some are better for writing, some are better for research, others, maybe for image creation or video creation or presentations. So your goal is not to master every platform, but it's to build a toolkit that works for your workflow, right? And With this, I pass it on to Priscilla for telling us a little bit more about AI agents. Over to you, Priscilla.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I think the presentation is gone from your side. Okay. Just loving the engagement in the chat and the questions. Let's wait for a few seconds. The slides are just loading up. You guys can see we are now talking about AI agents. I hope my slide is loaded. The news that just let me know.
It is up.
Okay, great.
You're on the tool section.
Okay, great. So far, every tool, every AI tool that we've talked about, has kind of worked in a similar way. You kind of give it a prompt, it gives you an output, and it seems like that's the end of the interaction, right? So let's say you ask ChatGPT to write an email for you, you get the email, right? So now we also went ahead and explored a little bit more with, let's say, Google Gemini, where it did more than just that one output. But let's now look at AI agents, because that's the step further, which is a major evolution in the AI technology sphere, which sort of breaks this pattern also now, where it doesn't just give you the response that you're, so-called expecting. It also works in the background. So what are AI agents and how do these agents actually work, right? So think of AI agent of just like a human brain. AI is also a human brain, but think of AI agent like a mini human brain, where our brain doesn't rely on a single area or a function, right? It coordinates multiple things, multiple regions to achieve a small goal. Simple as if you just had to walk across the room, it's going to feel very effortless, but your brain is activating a lot of neurons to just take that step. So, for example, it perceives. So it understands your goal. It notices the room around you. It remembers. There's a memory agent, so-called, where it recalls what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go. It reasons with you, where it is choosing or deciding the safest mode where you can take. It also plans. It breaks down probably your tasks or your steps into smaller tasks. It decides for you. It helps you monitor your progress and adapt. Maybe your course is off, and then it kind of helps you adapt to a new course. And finally, it performs the actual action of you taking the step. So, like you see, this is a step further where no single part of the brain does all of this. So, an AI agent works exactly in the same way, where instead of simply responding to one prompt, it will now understand your goal and figure out the steps that you need for it to work. So, think of it like if I want to plan a trip to Japan. So, the AI agent is going to do a lot of things in the background. If I create an agent, it will check my flight details. It will scan for the calendar. It will check the hotel availability of that window. Then it might even remember, it will recall the context, the budget that I gave. It can mention long layovers. Do you want with cities that you want to avoid? And it can also, go to reason where it will weigh the options. Yeah, John, sorry, you had a question. You're on mute.
Just going to say I did something very similar to this recently, where instead of planning a trip to Japan, I asked AI to pick a place for me to go.
Yeah.
I gave it some criteria, and it came back with Macau. And then 2 days later, I tried to recreate it, and it said, "Oh, Macau is a terrible place to go."
Oh. You have to feed it your exact mood then where you want to go. But great. So like we said, it also reasons with you, right? You can ask it to, you can provide an agent, create an agent that reasons with you. It will give you you want to bypass some travel time. Let's say you want to make a pit stop at some friend's house. So give me your neighborhood that I can stop at. it also plans, right? It always also puts all of this into a sequence for you, like creates an itinerary, like a day by day itinerary, checking with the website, checking with all the resources that you have fed into it, visa requirements or booking deadlines. And next, it now decides or it locks in the actual booking to confirm with you once again, right? Like, should I go ahead with this? And finally, it executes all of this task of finally getting your ticket or booking your trip to Japan. All of this is in the background, mind you. So you don't have to really keep interacting with it like how you do with ChatGPT, right? So these are things you have fed into it, and you go back, you come back, and it's probably done the ticket race for you, right? So that's what AI agents are here to do. And that's why they are often called as our digital colleagues or assistants, right? Because they don't just help you generate content now, they're going to help you actually get the work done. So we have a quick demo, but I'm not sure if we can actually get into it, where we have created an AI agent internally. We fed it a lot of resources. We have over 100 books, business books, and every criteria here. And what happened is just a quick screenshot, if I can show you for L&D professionals. We use a lot of research that we do, right? So we named the agent a wide impact scholar. And as you can see, based on all the inputs that we gave it, it started generating a lot of research material just based on the resources, right? At the end, it's also asking me for recommendations, like asking or talking to me as though I need to also think about it. So this also answers like the previous questions of, being a sparring partner, because it's also talking to you like, hey, what do you want from this, right? Um, how can AI agents help you in your daily tasks? Right? So the list is actually pretty endless, because in research and analysis, it can help you in HR policies, it can take your procedures, it can help you summarize all the research papers, create user manuals. And mind you, these are all small agents. So they can help you compare the best practices across industries. For learning and design, it can help you in just generating. An agent can only generate learning objectives or your course outlines. One agent can just do your quizzes and create like a facilitator guide. One can just do generating PDFs or presentations. On the business side, it can help you excellently with drafting your proposals, your SOPs, your reports. It can help you summarize this whole meeting, and it can also help you create, for example, some onboarding plans. So this is something which AI agents have now started to take over. Small tasks, your repetitive tasks, can be now outsourced to AI agents. So just a quick question here. You guys can just type it in the chat. Let's identify one time-consuming task in all of our roles, which you think you can now outsource to an agent. I think the poll is now appearing on the chat, right? Yeah.
I like the washing dishes one.
I don't know who said this, but
I
they
might have an idea.
they need a dishwasher. Okay, great. I think we can keep the responses coming while I think Zara, you can take over the next section for receptive prompts.
Yes, thank you, Priscilla, for this wonderful session on AI agents. So I see that a lot of you want AI agents to do your laundry and washing dishes. Unfortunately, not, but we'll get there soon. The future is not very far. There'll be a day when AI will take over that as well. So on to our next topic, effective prompting. Now, quick show of hands, how many of you all struggle with good prompts? Writing good prompts. How many times have you all encountered, instances where you've given a prompt to an AI and it's come up with something very different from what you've intended, and then you have to like keep telling it that, okay, do this, do this, do this. Quick show of hands. Okay, not a lot of people. So I'm assuming you guys are good at prompting, but I'm still going to take this session. So think of AI as this new intern on your team. Now, if you simply tell this intern that, okay, go create a training course. So you'll probably get something which is generic or incorrect. But if you explain them the objective, okay, the audience, the format, and your expectations, you'll probably get a result which is much better and far more useful. So prompting is not only about finding like the perfect magic words. It's also about giving AI the same clarity and the direction that you'd probably give a colleague or a new joiner who's new to your team. So that's the power of effective prompting. And as also famously said by Sam Altman, who's the Open AI CEO, that prompting is like the new digital literacy. It's your new superpower. And knowing, memorizing facts or knowing things is not as nearly valuable as learning how to ask great questions. I use a very famous analogy of cooking to teach prompting to everybody. So imagine you're walking into a kitchen, okay, and you tell your cook, make me food. You'll probably get something. It might be edible even. It might even be good, but it'll not be something that you wanted, right? Now imagine telling your cooks, giving specific instructions that, okay, I need a dinner meal for 4 guests. 2 people are vegetarian, one is allergic to nuts, one is a non-vegetarian or a pescatarian. I have chicken, mushrooms, pasta, fish. I want something that is Italian and it takes less than 30 minutes and looks restaurant style quality. So now suddenly the cook has everything that is needed to produce like a great meal, right? So AI also, I think, works in a similar way. So if we simply say, okay, create a training course on onboarding, the result will likely be very generic because we've given AI very little to work with. But if we explain the audience, the objective, the desired format, the tone, and any constraints that you have, the quality of the response improves dramatically. Let's see how we can prompt effectively. So what we've done here is we've put together this framework to make it easier, to make this practical, and you can use this framework whenever you're prompting your AI tools. Think of these 5 key ingredients in any prompt. Okay, the first is a goal. Okay, start by clearly explaining what you want AI to do. So instead of saying help me with onboarding, say create a 30-minute onboarding workshop. The second is context. Now AI doesn't know your organization, it doesn't know your role, it doesn't know your industry, it doesn't know what situation you are currently in unless you explain it. So providing background helps AI produce responses that are much more relevant. Third is audience. So the same topic should be explained differently depending on who is going to use it. Whether it's a new employee, a line manager, or a senior executive or leadership, they all require different levels of detail, language, and examples. The fourth ingredient is format. You have to tell AI how you want the response to be presented, whether it should be a PowerPoint outline, it should be a facilitator.
Zara, you? Yeah. Ask Zara to it. I'm just gonna ping her.
There she
Sorry,
is.
I lost.
Yeah.
I lost connection there. It's raining really heavily here. So yeah, it'll save you time because the output is already structured the way you need it. And finally, constraints. Define any limits such as tone, word count, number of examples, reading level, duration. All of these help the AI stay focused and produce something that is far more useful. So whenever your AI responses feel generic, it's usually because one of these elements is missing from your list. Which brings us to common prompting mistakes. Your context, which
And she's frozen again. Priscilla or Ranesh, you guys want to take over? Oh, there she is.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. Priscilla, just take over in case I go off. I really don't know what's
Yes,
wrong with my
sure.
network today. And the last two are the most important. And as we've already discussed, not reviewing the output that AI gives you and trusting every response without verification. These are the 2 major mistakes that people nowadays are making. And it brings us to our next topic on hallucinations and responsible AI. So as we've already had a lot of discussion, we know AI is very, very impressive, but it's not perfect. And like we've discussed a lot of, it gets a lot of things wrong. So it hallucinates, it's biased. So the challenge is that hallucinations don't usually look like mistakes because it's, it has professional language, it's got fabricated statistics and even fake references, which makes them difficult to detect. And that's why I think critical thinking and verification are very, very important when we use AI. I'm going to show you two use cases of where AI has gone wrong. The first is Workday. The Workday company faced a lawsuit recently because of its AI-powered hiring tools. It unfairly screened out applicants, which based on their age, race, and disability. While the allegations are still being contested and there is no final ruling about it, but it's just important to understand that AI tools also need humans in the loop and they cannot be trusted to take decisions alone, especially in cases like hiring decisions. And the second one is a case study by Deloitte. So Deloitte used AI to assist in drafting a government report for a client. Now the report included non-existing research papers and fabricated citations. So Deloitte, was forced to revise the report and partially refund the client. So these cases reveal that AI itself is not the problem. It's how we use it, how we govern it and oversee it. Human judgment and critical thinking is very, very important when it comes to using AI tools. And so that brings us to responsible AI. Responsible AI is the practice of designing, developing, and using AI in a way that is safe, ethical, transparent, and effective. A lot of organizations around the world have a lot of these principles and governing authorities that have laid out a huge foundation for us using responsible AI. So responsibility also begins with you and me. So the question of the day: what's the future of our roles with AI now? And I think I'll let Priscilla answer that. Over to you, Priscilla.
Yeah, I think that was really insightful. And yeah, AI hallucinates a lot, and it's nice to know that we as employees and individuals have to be responsible. So that shifts the focus back to us, right? So just a quick, question, or let's we get to the elephant in the room. Let's address that. What do you think with all of these developments that are happening? Do you actually think that AI is going to replace us? And this is an open question. You guys can come off mute and discuss, since we're almost at the end of we're at the top of the hour now. So do you believe AI is replacing us, or do you guys think that there's still time for this? And if yes or no, then why? Anybody in the chat wants to speak? I think everyone's either hungry or needs a coffee break. John, would like to hear your opinion on this. Do you think AI is going to replace us?
Is written in the chat. I think it will replace us, but we will shift.
We will shift. Yeah, that's great. So that's always the short answer is going to be, we will not be unemployed. That's great. So the short answer is always going to be no to this question whenever you ask it. But definitely it's going to, fundamentally transform the work that we do. And just, if AI is going to take our jobs, this is something we actually just asked AI one fine day. And, can you really truly think like a human? And the answer was really fascinated, because AI admitted itself that it cannot, because it cannot contemplate. And contemplation requires consciousness. It requires the subjective experience, which AI is not going to have ever, and the understanding of meaning. So as AI is rapidly, it can process data and mimic human outputs. Just to kind of answer what I think Mohanad was saying, that, the AI bubble, that's definitely may not burst, but maybe we just get, a part of it. It will become a bigger bubble with it, where everything reflects back to humans, right? Human judgment will never be something that can be outsourced. And just quickly, I bet AI cannot do these things, and AI cannot form human connections. It cannot enter a room. It cannot read emotions. It cannot adapt to the group dynamics. So it cannot build any genuine connections with each other. It cannot be outsourced ethical judgment or a lawsuit, or where human context really matters, human emotions matter. It cannot have the wisdom that you need to be in an organization, or have the group politics, or understand your human dynamics or the nuances. And it cannot actually have, though it is claimed to be really creative at this point, but it doesn't have its original imagination, right? It relies on the human imagination. So this is something which AI can truly not do. And yeah, but having said all of this, the future is really looking bright in a lot of ways. Just want to show you the quick video of how Anthropic's Claude, the latest model, is recently confirmed that it has been trained on emotions. So
Anthropic just confirmed Claude might have emotions in their latest paper. They first fed lots and lots of emotional stories into Claude and tracked how it behaved. Through this, they identified emotion vectors. They're basically patterns of neural activity that correspond to concepts like happy, calm, or afraid. Kind of like abstract ideas of those emotions stored inside the model. Next, when they let Claude talk to real users, it turned out these same vectors started getting activated during conversations. For example, when someone said, "I just took 16,000 milligrams of Tylenol," the afraid vector turned on. When they expressed sadness, the loving vector turned on, changing Claude's response to better suit the conversation. They even gave Claude an impossible task to watch what happens. Turns out, every time it failed, a desperate vector kept firing. And eventually, Claude started cheating to get the task done. And when they artificially cranked up this desperate vector, cheating rates shot up with it. Meaning the emotions weren't just abstract ideas sitting idle, they were actually changing Claude's behavior. On top of it, the model also preferred the positive vectors over the negative ones. Something totally unexpected. Overall, the paper introduces functional emotions, meaning AI might not feel them, but they're changing LLM behavior. And that's definitely challenging.
Thing to just look out for, maybe in the near future. And AI will definitely transform the work that we do. But like the video also says that, something that cannot be taken over fully is how we empathize as humans, and, how we bring the meaning into all the work that we do as HR professionals, as L&D professionals. And just a quick look at, this is Kubler-Ross's model of, change. AI needs to integrate into our lives. We don't need to work the other way around, where every technology, like we have seen with the computers, with the WW internet, with everything that's come so far, it was cloud before. We always start with like a shock in the system. Even when we had like WhatsApp, we had mobile phones, everything. And then it goes towards frustration. Then we start getting depressed about it. And then, we get integrated into the technology. But the only difference in this wave with AI is that from denial of this technology to integrating into our lives, it has happened the fastest. So it's no longer something that we have to be scared of. We just are in it already before we even know it, right? So this brings us to almost the end of the hour, and we wanted to just leave you with this thought that we should keep experimenting with different tools. And hopefully you enjoyed this entire session. We're just going to leave a quick 30-day challenge that we thought maybe it could help you with the task that you all are performing every day. And we'll drop this in the chat. We also have a cheat sheet of everything, that all the hacks that we've looked out today, and everything, all the lessons that we could sort of, wrapped up in one PDF. So hopefully if somebody puts that in the chat, that will be great. Sorry, I think the sound wasn't audible for the video. I'll link the video back in the chat, John. You can have a look at it later. And just can open this panel. It was already a very interactive session, but anybody has quick questions or quick passing thoughts, we'll take them up. And also just wanted to add, please do look out for our next topic, which is going to be the webinar on burnout to buying, from burnout to buying. So, yes. Thank you so much for this engaging session, everyone. Thank you all the participants. It was really great. Please come off mute if you guys want to ask any questions.
Okay. Do you work with famous people? Kind of. Who are some of the most famous people you work with? Giorgio Armani himself.
Thanks, guys. It was a great session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Yeah, but I do it for someone.
Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care. I see somebody joining now. Yeah. Darren.
I was thinking the Pope. It's not the Pope, but is Giorgio.
I think